Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. I hope you're having a great day today. And I'm excited right now because I want to welcome you to my place of worship. This is my church. A little backstory on that. My wife and I got married when we were 18 years old. No, I didn't get married when I was 18. We got married 18 years ago, and she had a church she grew up in and went to. I had a church I had been attending. We kind of went and checked hers out, and I really didn't fit in there, and she come to mine, and this didn't work out on her end, so we started praying about it and said, God, where do you want us to go? Where should we be at so that we can best serve you in your kingdom? So we started looking around, come over here, and the first time I walked in the doors, there was this massive Tyrannosaurus Rex on stage and a pterodactyl hanging from the ceiling. And I think there was a Brontosaurus over here in the corner. And Ken Ham, I don't know if you know that guy. He's the guy up in Kentucky that has the big Noah's Ark, the Creation Museum, that guy. He was here speaking on creation versus evolution. And man, it was a very impactful sermon. It was totally and completely not traditional. Typically you don't walk in a church service and see a dinosaur hanging from the ceiling, right? And we had an overwhelming confidence after the next few visits that, hey, this is where God wants us. We've been going here for 18 years now. Contemporary style church, lots of praise and worship, upbeat, and the gospel is absolutely preached. Lives are being changed, souls are being saved. Praise the Lord. But being part of a healthy church is incredibly important. I cannot stress to you enough that to be in a church that is actually preaching the gospel of Jesus and lives are being radically changed for the good, and people are taking that and delivering it back out into the world, and man, God's good. I absolutely love my church. Wouldn't take nothing for it. Really don't plan on changing. I plan on being here until I die, unless God moves me somewhere else. And when God speaks, you want to listen and be obedient. The reason I'm out here today is my company. A gentleman has been doing this property for probably 30 to 40 years roughly, and he is retired now, and my company's been fortunate enough to be able to take over the grounds maintenance. So it's our first year out here, first spring, and today I got my crews out here doing mulch, and I want to kind of take you around and show you some of the way that when I look at a landscape, I'm looking at it to be able to make the entire property aesthetically pleasing. Aesthetically pleasing, I think's the way you say that. And so there's a lot of things here that have to deal directly and specifically with mulch that I felt needed to be changed. Okay, so let's go over here and walk around. I want to show you some of the things I'm talking about, and maybe this will give you an idea in your home, or if you're a lawn care company and you need to do some work on a new property, and it'll give you some ideas that'll help, over the long term. It's going to make this whole property look a lot better. Track out here, and I got a right mower with this little wheelbarrow looking thing called a mulch mate, and that basically is a wheelbarrow unit that you can attach to the front of a mower. I got mine on the front of a Wright ZK, and I've also got the attachment to hook it up to the Ventrac, and I'm really liking that piece of equipment. I'm more than likely going to get me a second one going to next year. So the other company that had been doing this, you can see how they're really bringing that mulch up the side of the tree. In my book, that's a big time no-no. So what we're doing is pulling that mulch out, fanning it out to the edges, and then going back with a little light dusting on top. I'm just not a fan of putting that mulch all the way up beside the trunk of the tree. When I do it from the beginning, if these were all brand new, ooh, look at all the ants in there. If this was brand new, I actually like to leave a ring around the tree and not put the mulch up against the base of the tree. You can almost see a little bit of rot right there on that bark, and that's why I don't like doing that. Now the ground here is absolutely rock hard. On this section over here, you can see these massive oak trees that line the driveway coming in. So you can imagine almost everything up under here has some type of root system from the trees. You can see all the moss right here. So how are we gonna fix this? Well, it's gonna be a process to it, okay? This ain't an overnight fix. You can't come in here with mature trees like this and expect things to go hunky-dory in one season and come back next spring after you see this and it all be perfect. It don't work that way. So it'll take a couple of years of working this ground, spraying some of this moss out, maybe amending the ground a little bit with some compost or something like that. Lots of aerator work, breaking this ground up really good. And then obviously once you seed it, Lord have mercy, you have to really depend on the rain, because none of this is irrigated. This is way too much space to drag water hoses out here, but that is what it is. One of the things I'm going to help do right here to fix some of these issues is you can see my little orange line. You can see this tree had a ring of mulch around it, and this tree had a ring of mulch around it. And now look what I've done. You see I've kind of put a pretty curve right there. And then over here I've kind of put a pretty curve. And then let's look at this right here. See this group of 3 oaks right here? This one had some mulch around it and those 2 didn't. So what I've done is come around, went around that oak, come in, put a little bit of a curve in it, because you don't want perfect little triangles. You want something that flows good. So I got a nice curve, and I've made this curve right here so that it's easy to mow. Okay, it's not a super sharp curve, and it's not a straight line. I've got a little bit of a curve to it so that it gives a little appeal to the eye, and the mower, when they're mowing, it's a nice smooth transition around. And you can see it goes around there, and then the line comes right through here. And so what it does is it connects all 3 of these trees, and all this will be mulch. Okay, we'll do a follow-up video after they get everything done. But look at this. Turf ain't gonna happen right here. Now, let me rephrase that. Yeah, turf could happen. I can grow grass right here. There's no doubt in my mind with what I know and the things I can do equipment-wise to be able to amend this ground. There's no doubt in my mind I can get grass to grow right here. But is it worth the money you have to spend on this one section simply so you got some green grass? In my opinion, it's not. I just don't want to fight it. And the client here, I'm sure they're not going to want to spend the extra money on this one little spot that's ongoing year after year after year, because these big trees right here, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to cut them down. They're going to be here until Jesus comes back, unless there's a drastic storm and they get blowed over or something. And if that happens, we'll look at something else. So the point is, when you get in an area like this, a lot of the times it's easier to not fight the elements. Meaning, this right here is a microclimate all on its own. I'm surrounded by 3 massive trees. So this piece of ground right here, turf, is going to be incredibly difficult. So why bother fighting it? Mulch it, make it aesthetically pleasing to your eye, and roll on. Yeah.
Mulch it, but you want this side like this side all the way to the tree?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah,
because it's bare right there.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I missed that one. Back that up and let me mark it out.
Okay.
Can you see that? I ain't have my paint over here, so I had to mark that out with a rake. See how they pulling some of that mulch down around that tree right there and kind of lower that down a little bit. So something else I tried to do and be aware of is I wanted to, minimize some maintenance while making things look good. So what you got right here is a mailbox where you have to weed eat around all this. So instead, we kind of connected it over there with the corner of the sidewalk, 77 inches from this point to that point. So I come out 77 inches over here, and then just put me a little half moon shape in there, and we'll do this in mulch right here. It'll make it look better and makes it a little bit easier for mowing. Look at this flagpole. Holy cow, boy, that thing is massive. Now what I did is I done away with a weed eating spot right here. Typically you'd run your string trimmer around here and clean it up because you can't get your mower deck all the way up against the concrete base right there. So I come out 12 inches, put me a circle around it. We'll put a little mulch in there and make it pretty and be done with it. Oh yeah, look at there, baby. Oh glory, fly, baby, fly. Now you can see over here on the other far side of the property, got some more oaks around here, nothing done. This ground over here, the same thing. Look at it, bare, hard as a brick. Gonna be really tough to grow turf here, but hey, I'm up for any challenge, so we're gonna do our best to get turf established right here. But one thing I don't want is I don't want the turf going up against the tree. So you can see my little rings right here. And I just basically come in here and painted it out so the guys will have something to go by. Now let me show you how I did this. You know, I'm super peculiar about symmetry and that kind of thing, so I want everything to match on the property. I don't want one tree ring being 3 foot and another tree ring being 2 foot and this one being 1 foot. So I just kind of picked a good number of 48 inches for all the big oak trees. I've got a few power poles back there I'll show you. I picked 3 foot for those, and then all the plants and bushes kind of scattered around in the yard, I went 4 foot on those as well. So the 3 foot's a little bit less of a bed because the power pole is a little bit smaller in circumference. So all in all, it's going to kind of look good as you're looking at it. So what I do is I come out here with my tape measure, butt it up against the tree right there. You can get this paint gun marking thing at Lowe's, and you can of spray paint. Just, you can see right there, it's got the little tip, and then when you get right here and you see how I pull that trigger right there, and you put your can of paint in there and pull that trigger. Oh, I don't want to spray the camera, but look, you see how it goes down right there, and look, you see how it sprays. So you can get that set up at Lowe's right there. I can't remember what I paid for it. Maybe, I don't know, $20, maybe $15 or something. So I'll come out here on the tree trunk and let this thing hang straight down like that, and I'll just put me a little mark. Then I'm gonna go about 2 or 3 foot like that all the way around the tree and put me a little mark. That way I'm staying away from the tree the same amount of distance all the way around it. That's kind of where that whole symmetry thing comes in. When you do that across the board, across the entire property, everything kind of flows together, looks the same, and it just makes for a really good aesthetic appearance, in my opinion. And of course, my opinion ain't always right, but that's just the way I like to do things. But look at there. Now I got a nice clean ring right here, and I'm not worried about this grass that's in here. When they put the mulch down, it'll smother a lot of it, and if any does come up on our weekly visits, we spray a little Roundup in the beds and keep the weeds checked up. So I ain't worried about that grass right there. And on the edge in the beds, you know, that really wasn't a priority right here. So we just kind of got the mulch, and we'll go back with a rake, flip the rake upside down and tuck it all the way around and give it a nice clean line going all the way around your tree there. Now you can see we're over here on the back side of the property was up there. There's the actual church building up there, and you see some of these smaller trees. Now they had a little teeny tiny tree ring right here, and we come on out and made these 4 foot in circumference all the way around. Another good reason for that is if you have a tight tree ring and you have to mow around it, you know, depending on who you got mowing, if they mowing a little too fast, that's how you get some of them burn marks around your tree rings. So making this a little bit bigger is going to help that mower go around here a little smoother and not damage any turf. And yeah, I know it ain't a lot of turf out here, but that's one of the reasons they called me, is so we can get this place in shape. Here's a couple of those power poles I was telling you about, and we just come out 3 foot on them and kind of circled it. And you can see this is a pretty decent little slope right here. It's a good size hill. and this will be mowed with the Ventrac. And of course I wanted a big wide turning radius right here, so that's why we enclosed that. And plus it just flows well with the rest of the property. All the trees are going to have mulch rings around them now, and so it just made sense to include these little power poles to have a mulch ring too. All right, so hopefully that right there helps you. Maybe you're a lawn care company, and maybe you need some ideas on a commercial property, and you're getting ready to mulch it or pine needle it or whatever. And maybe this will give you some ideas if you're a resident, a homeowner, and you're looking for some ideas to maybe do some landscape changes or make your lawn care easier. You know, I'm all about making things as simple, as low-key as they possibly can be. Well, this is something that might help you by putting those rings around your tree and mulching it, pine needle it, or you know, something along those lines. So hey, two quick things. Maybe you're wanting to be a part of a church, and what we've got is we do the online service too. It's through YouTube, and you can click that link on Sunday morning. I think it's at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or you can go back through some of the previous services, and you can enjoy your worship right there in your living room. If you know, right now with things going on with the virus, you know, I don't think everybody's comfortable with being around people, so I'm gonna link it up in the description. It's a link to our service for online Sunday morning service. It's Eastern Standard Time, 11 o'clock. You're more than welcome to join us, man, and get your worship on. And I'll put that in the description below if you want to check it out. No, the church didn't tell me to say that. I tell you that because I choose to tell you. Now look, Hebrews 9:27 says it is appointed unto man once to die. I don't think anybody would argue that death is a part of life. You're born, you live your life, you die. It's what you do with that life that what matters. And at the end of that life, the absolute truth and the only thing that matters is your relationship with Jesus. That's it. Your money don't matter, how good of a person you was. Being good don't grant you grace. The amount of money you have, you can't buy your way into heaven. You can't be kind enough to earn God's favor. The absolute one and only thing is your relationship with Christ and accepting Him as your Lord and Savior, repenting of your sin and saying, hey, God, I am yours. My life, from the time that I accept you until the time I die, I'm going to commit that life to you, Jesus. That is what matters. So hey, I want to encourage you, get your faith right. And again, I appreciate you taking time out of your day watching this video. I think it's really cool that I get the opportunity to do the maintenance on my church and get to come over here Sunday and look and see what the guys done that previous week, and it's really cool. I hope we can get this place turned around and get it looking really good. And again, appreciate you watching. I'll check you later.